Most people fail the CST exam because they don't thoroughly study. Is that going to be you? Hopefully not. You joined this page or this video because we have a new thing. I'm going to do a speed round for the next 14-ish minutes. I'm going to read as many questions as I can, put them up on the screen, expose it to you. I got it right in my hand here, so bear with me as I read along. Of course, I'm going to edit it. But I'm going to jump right into these questions as fast as I can and read these questions. Just to give you the format, I'll read the question. I'll put it up on the screen. You'll see the question, get a minute to kind of go over it. But I'm going to give you that answer, so think pretty quick, or at least pause if you really want to give it a thought. But I'm going to put these questions up, read them as many as I can for the next 14 minutes, right out of the 4th edition. Here we go. Put the first question up right now. What is the lining of the thoracic cavity? Oh, that was my dog. What is the lining of the thoracic cavity? The peritoneum, the pleura, the parietal, or the pericardium? What is the lining of the thoracic cavity? Pretty easy questions. I'm just going to randomly choose them. In this case, you should know the thoracic cavity is lined with the pleural cavity, the parietal, the visceral pleural. Within there is the pleural cavity, and that's negative pressure. All right, moving on to the next question. Not going to give you the numbers, just going to read them on here. Here we go. The vascular fibers covering the bones. Covering of bones is the what? Endosternum, the epiphysis, the apparatus, or the periosteum. What do you think the vascular fibrous covering of the bone is? Yeah, it's D, the periosteum. Peri means around, and osteum means bone. It's pretty straightforward on that question. All right. Of course, I mispronounced one of the words. I'm going to dub it in there so you can figure it out. Which of the following is the part of the immune system? Right? Hopefully that's brought up. Is it the liver, the spleen, the thyroid, or the pancreas? Which of the following is a part of the immune system? Now, you should know the spleen is part of the immune system. Liver produces bile, does a lot of other filter system. Pancreas does a lot of enzymes and sodium bicarbonates, and thyroid helps with metabolizing and hormonal production of T3, T4, but parathyroids with calcium absorption, right? So spleen is your correct answer on that question. All right, I'm going to just kind of read along here, make sure I understand some of these questions. All right, the inner layer of the artery. I've said this question 1,000 times. The inner layer of the artery is the viscera, the avantasia, the intima, or the media, right? The 3 layers of vessels. The inner layer is the intima, which is C. Yes, correct answer is C. Avantasia is the externa. Viscera is not really a part of it. The media is the middle layer. There's 3 layers of the vessel. So correct answer on that is C. All right, we're about 3 minutes as I go through another question. Here's another one. Which I put it up on the screen here. Which of the following vessels empties into the right atrium? This is the flow of the heart, right? Is it the pulmonary vein? Is it the aortic arch? The superior vena cava? Or the pulmonary artery? Which of the following vessels empty into the right atrium? You have to think about that. You better get a piece of pencil out if you're not sure about the flow of the heart, as my brain is processing the information. The right atrium, right? Top layer, right? It's emptying into, right atrium. Emptied into what? Yeah, it's your pulmonary vein. Which of the following vessels empties into the right atrium? So that's a kind of trick question there. So just realize emptied into the right atrium, it's the largest part or the top part of your chambers. And the superior vena cava is emptying into those atriums and obviously into your ventricles and so forth. So the correct answer on that is C, your superior vena cava or cava. All right, it's going right along here. Vitamins D, A, E, K are absorbed in what? Put it up on the screen. Your stomach, your intestines, your pancreas, or your liver. Right? Where are these vitamins absorbed in? Well, hopefully you had time to think about it. It's your intestines. Your small bowel does a lot of the absorption, where your large bowel is more fecal in absorbing whatever water is left. Right? So correct answer on that is your intestines. All right, moving right along. We got 5 minutes. Wow, we got a long time. I'll read a lot of questions here. Which structure articulates with the head of the femur? put that question up. Which structure articulates with the head of the femur? Is it the ilium, the pubis, the acetabulum, or the ischium? So where is the femur? Articulates with the head of the femur. That's a fossa, right? It's the acetabulum. C is your correct answer on that, right? Know your orthopedic, your bones, your joints, where they connect, what types of joints. Corresponding to that is your shoulder, it's a glenoid cavity. Your hip is the acetabulum, right? Reading some other questions here. So here is also with joints, the types of joints, right? The sutures. The sutures of an adult skull are an example of what type of joint. Synarthrosis, psychordosis, amphiarthrosis, and diarthrosis. Why brutalize one of those names? So these are types of joints, freely movable, slightly movable, or immovable, right? In this case, the cranial sutures in your skull, especially when you're an adult, which is key, because when you're young, they're pliable, are immovable. You can't move them. In this case, it's going to be your synarthrosis is your A is your correct answer. As freely movable is like your elbow, and your vertebrae is going to be your amphiarthrosis, right? In this case, A was your correct answer on that. Next question, we'll put it up on the screen. What is the part of the brain that is responsible for controlling the body's temperature? Is it your cerebellum, your pons, your cerebrum, or what do you think? The hypothalamus. Your thalamus is right in the middle of your brain. It's kind of like the router sending signals out. Right below there is the hypothalamus. Yes, that has a lot to do with controlling temperature in your body. Thermoregulation. Look that word up. In this case, D was hypothalamus. Hypothalamus. It's hard to read these questions fast. All right, next question. Put it up on the screen. The process at which blood cells form is known as... Words I can't pronounce. Next question. Next question we'll put up on the screen. The conduction fibers that extend from the AV node to the intraventricular system from the what? So looking at the conduction system, fibers that extend from the AV node to the intraventricular system, otherwise known as the septum that runs down the middle. Is it A, SA node, bundle of His, vagus bundle, or the left bundle branch? Throwing stuff out in left field here. In this case, the bundle of His is where the AV node goes to down the septum, down the Purkinje fibers. So B, bundle of His, was the correct answer on that. So here's a question, pretty easy one. Put up on the screen. Primary functions of the gallbladder is to what? Store bile, produce bile, emulsify fats, metabolize fats. Well, it's kind of a trick question here. The primary function of that gallbladder is to store the bile to eventually put into your duodenum to help break down fats. In this case, the main thing for the gallbladder is to store the bile. The liver will produce the bile, right? Next question here. The small intestines attached to the posterior abdominal wall by the mesentery, the peritoneum, the falciform ligament, or the lesser omentum. The small intestines attached to the posterior abdominal wall by what? I'm going to go with the peritoneum, right? So it attaches to your peritoneum on the posterior abdominal wall. I don't know. Someone fact check me on that one. Next question. The organ that connects by a duct to the duodenum is the organ that connects by a duct to the duodenum is the pancreas, the gallbladder, the stomach, or the liver. The organ that connected by the duct to the duodenum is the pancreas. Yeah, so the pancreas is literally right there to the vater, ampulla vater, and the hepatic duct, and everything's draining into the duodenum to help break food down. And so correct answer on that is the pancreas. Next question. What are we at here? 11 minutes, probably around 10 minutes in that range. Keep reading some questions. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Make sure you like and subscribe. There's a lot of good resources on our YouTube page. But spread the information out there. Put your name in the comments. Oh, by the way, I posted something. If you want, I call it the CST Bible. Right? I've broken everything down, question-wise, specialty-wise, based on the AST format in the CST exam or the MBS TSA exam, structure-wise. all the information you need based on subjects and categories. If you want that information, well, it's not free. But what I can do is if you go in this page and go to the thank button on the bottom and donate something, $2 minimum, $3, $10 I'm looking for. If you do that and I see that you donated, and if I try to get your email, I will send the document to you with a lot of other links of other exams, just to show my appreciation, okay? Hopefully you guys can do that. Really, all this money's not going to me. I'm not trying to retire off it. I'm trying to gather funds for the students for externships, gas money, and so forth. If you saw what I make on this page, you would laugh. It's enough to buy a dinner, okay? And some cards here and there. So I like to try to get that out there more. I appreciate it. Next question, random question. We're at 12 minutes. Stop talking, Brad. Read the question. That's all we want to know. Here, it's a cell question or neuron question. Which part of the question? Put the question up. Which part of the neuron conducts impulses away from the cell body? Is it the axon, the dendrites, the soma, or the ganglion? So which part of the neuron conducts impulses away from the cell body? Going away. It's afferent, it's efferent, not afferent. So away from the body. You have to know the cell, right? The soma, the dendrites, the axon. Which way is the signal going towards and along which pathway? So they're asking away. In this case, we're going to go away on the axons. We're going to go towards on the dendrites. So A was your correct answer on that question. All right, trying to find one. Here's a question about the skull. In which fossa, I'll put it up on the screen, which fossa is the cerebellum located? So which fossa is a little area where things sit. So which area or which fossa is the cerebellum located? The medial, the lateral, posterior, or anterior of the skull? Anterior, posterior, lateral, medial, up top somewhere. No, we know posteriorly, the occipital area is where the cerebellum, which is your hindbrain, where a lot of your equilibrium and balance is located, right? Trying to find a hard one. We're coming up on 14 minutes, probably 13 minutes. I'll go with 2 more questions, and hopefully you guys can stick to the end here, and I'll give you my thoughts here. Here's one. Bring it up on the screen here. The heel bone of the foot is called the tarsal, the phalanges, the calcaneus, or the metatarsals. The heel. It's also the largest part of your ankle bones, right? Yes, it's C. You guys probably knew this. Or any ortho guys, they knew it, right? The calcaneus is your largest of your bones, is also your heel bone, right? The navicular, the talus, the cuboidal. These are all bones in your ankle. This one is the largest of your foot bones. Trying to find one more question. I'll end it with an orthopedic question. Another name for a spongy bone. Is it the callus, the calcaneus, cortical, or compact? Which is another name for a spongy bone? Well, it's B, the calcaneus bone. Cortical is going to be your hard bone. Compact, probably very similar. Callus, these are all terms used in orthopedics. The 2 bones, the types, hard and soft, are going to be cortical and cancellous. In this case, B is your correct answer. Cancellous is your spongy type of bone. They also correspond to the screws, right? Ortho guys, right? Cortical, cancellous, those are types of screws. There's also pedicle screws, types of screws you use in orthopedic for putting plates on, right? Anyways, 16 minutes. I'm not sure how far I got. This was a speed rush of questions. I'm glad you joined me. Don't forget, if you're interested in the $10 CST Bible that I produced, put into the thanks, donate what you can. That's the only way you're going to get it. I put a lot of time and effort into it. I give it to my students for free at school. Well, they're at school, they pay tuition. So if you guys want to have access to that, donate what you can. Otherwise, check out these other videos, subscribe, share, and hopefully you enjoy this process of a speed CST questions, and I'll see you on the next video.